Good morning, everyone. Pre-market video for the week of October 6th from Chris Brecher and TradingNest.tv. What's today about? Well, this week is about the government shutdown, but I don't think it's going to matter much. Number two is definitely about AMD. As you see AMD on the bottom right here, and I'll highlight it with zoomit.com. I love free stuff, just to let you know, and I'll show you some tools of the trade that are free. But the first thing is AMD. OpenAI is going to invest in them. AMD in return is going to give them warrants for 160 million shares. Here we go again. A company with no real money in there is going to be raising money to buy other things that then buy their chips and so and so. We saw it with Oracle. You saw with a number of things. It's one of those circular things, and we'll see how that comes out. A lot of people, including Jeff Bezos at Amazon, and then you had Solomon talking about that this could be part of the AI bubble, that in the long run, it's good. Just like in 1999, 2000, there were a lot of good things, but there were a lot of companies that were pulled up and thrown out in the wayside. So what happened in there? It's the big deal is it did hurt certain stocks on Friday. So it did hurt some of the AI stocks and what Bezos said. But you have to understand, a lot of people are asking, is this 1998? Or is this a tail end at the end of 1999? If you didn't know, the top was in March of 2000. So I look for the rollovers, and I'll show you on how I do it. I don't see it yet, but let's just see in the long run. So the first thing I'm going to be watching is how AMD reacts to everything. So that's the first thing. The second thing I'm going to be watching in here is just for any kind of reversal patterns, but sprinkled with longs. So just to let you know, I'm looking at both sides of the market. So I want to show you some of the stuff we're looking at. One thing that I think is really important that I was looking at over the weekend, the administration talking about taking stakes in companies that are doing well. And is that healthy or not? Well, just keep in mind that in 2010, the Bank of Japan started buying their ETFs. They own 80% of the Japanese ETFs, only 7% of their market, but they have a lot. What's the difference between that and the U.S.? The difference is in Bank of Japan, they had persistent deflation. In the U.S., we have inflation. So I don't know about that, but that definitely can hold up the market for a while. But it does add to the deficit. And what's happening? Yeah, the bond market's going down. If I'm right, the bond market is going to make new lows because you still have inflation. The DJCI, which I watch closely, is near a new high. So let's show you all the charts and show you the economic reports and so and so. The first thing, Stalking longs and shorts, wanted to show you that. The other thing I wanted to watch you, if I play the short side, I'm going to play the stocks that acted the worst on Friday, barring any bad good news in them. So if they had red candles, which you probably saw on these, usually if they close near their low, barring any good news, they test the low at least once. Meta was down because of the new thing, Soma from OpenAI, that they think is going to compete with Reels and all that. So just keep that also in mind. PLTR had news about defense stuff, and there's some competition in there as well. So these are stocks that went up a lot, and now they're slowly rolling over. Now, getting back to it, what I'm talking about with liking free stuff. Well, the first thing, most anticipated earnings. How did I find this? You go to most anticipated earnings on Google and put in this week, and this pops out. So the biggest thing you're going to see is Thursday, you get Delta and Pepsi. That should be interesting in there. You have Levi's after the close, not as important as Delta and PepsiCo. Keep that in mind. What else are we going to watch? Like I said, I promised I'd show you a lot of free sites. So let's show you what we're talking about. So number one, Investors Conference. Today, you have a big one with the OpenAI at 1 p.m. But just go to Wall Street Horizon, which is free, and go to investors' conferences. It's really neat to see that. Investors' conferences. And what happens? They pop out. So just keep that in mind in here. They pop out. And I did that for you. Let me show you what we're talking about. Here you go. You go into here. And you're going to see, just go into investors conference. I know they sort of go in here and advertise stuff. Just press on that and you'll see IBM Tech Exchange, JP Morgan Software Forum, Oracle Cloud World. So in today you have OpenAI with a big thing talking about AI at 1 o'clock. So that should be a big thing as well. So just keep that in mind, the Oracle Cloud World next week. But usually, why am I showing you this? Because when they have conferences, they usually talk up their company. So they have investors conferences, they have investors meetings. It really matters a lot to watch that kind of thing. What else is free? What else do I like free? Well, you know I like FinViz, and FinViz, I show a lot of different things when it comes to FinViz. I also show the economic calendar, and I show briefings, earnings for good measure. So the next thing I want to show you is the economic calendar for this week. Remember, the unemployment report was put off because of what's going on with the budget stalemate. But just keep in mind that the way this works is we sort of know what it's going to be anyway. So what do you have in here? You have FOMC member Bostic speaking. I just don't think it's going to matter yet. But we're going to keep an eye on that DJCI, the commodities. Bonds hate inflation. And if those go up enough, I think these FOMC people are going to take notice. I'll show you that when you go into that, you're going to notice that the DJCI is going up, but it's not breaking up yet. That is going to be the key for bonds. Check that out. There's your Dow Jones Commodity Index, and you'll see if I take out all the drawings, and what you're going to see in here, if I make it nice and big, it's close to breaking up. If that was a stock, you'd be all over buying it on a cup and handle and all that. So go into a weekly chart, and you'll see it's close to breaking up, but that's the problem. It hasn't broken up. This, when you get parabolic like you see here, that really hits long-term bonds. If this breaks up, I think you'll see the ZB break down. I think you'll see it go to a new low, and you'll see it go to 6%. That will be problematic for the market. So one side, the AI revolution. On the other side, competition for your funds. Now, getting back to it about what's going on this week. Well, you got the Feds talking. You have the FOMC meeting minutes on Wednesday. And like I said, the commodities are not up enough for them to say, oh, inflation's going nuts. Housing prices have leveled off. That's helping the inflation numbers. And you're just not getting enough for the Fed people to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't cut. 30-year bond option might matter. Yeah, broken record. If that DJCI keeps going up this week, people get a little spooked. They'll demand more yield for their auction. You'll see in here, you have the non-farm payrolls theoretically on Friday. If you get everything with the where the BLS is open. So that's a big deal. Next week, you got the PPI, CPI, same thing. They better be released, or that little uncertainty can keep the market sort of a lid on it. Now, I showed you the most anticipated earnings for this week. Now, one thing, this conference highlight, free. Economic calendar, free. FinViz, where you can get a bunch of screeners, free. Scanners on Thinkorswim, free. In fact, if you want to build scanners, guess what? You can just go into ChatGPT and ask it to build a think script for scanners. Consolidation scanners, breakout scanners, a ton of them. You can just use ThinkScript and do it. And if you don't know how to import ThinkScript, ChatGPT will tell you. It's amazing. Now, economic calendar, free. Conference highlights, free. FinViz, free. Briefing.com earnings, free. And what do? Well, you know, like I showed you, what's coming up this week. So you got the Delta. So you got Pepsi. I wonder if Helen and Troy is going to launch new products. I've been waiting to say that. Next week, you got them fasten on. Then you got the big banks. So you got the Goldman Sachs, the Johnson & Johnson, the JP Morgan, the Citigroup. Then you can go even farther. You get the Abbott Labs, you get the First Industrial Realty, you get Synovus, UAL. Then you get even more and more. And then you get into the big ones coming up. So just keep that in the back of your mind of what we're going to be watching when it comes to earnings. You know, I don't like trading a lot of earnings, but I'll trade after the earnings or before. We've had a lot of success with that. I don't see the reason to take bets. If I see unusual put activity, which I've done a video on, sure, I'll go and maybe do something, but it better be unusual. After the close this day, October 21st, you start getting the big ones, the Netflix, the Texas Instruments. So let's get back to it to show you some of the stocks I'm looking at this week. So we're going to go into here and we're going to go into Thinkorswim. Like I said, Thinkorswim free in here. So what are we doing? Bonds, like I said, you got that triangle. Let's see if the DJCI breaks up. Then this is probability-wise going to break down. How about the AMDs of the world? Heck, you don't touch them on the opening, but just keep this chart just something you should look at. And that's Oracle, what happened after their big investment. Yeah, it went down. But the key is not this, it's the test of it. And then the defined trend line break. I promised you I'd show you what a rollover looks like. This is how rollovers in other times have looked like. People don't want to believe this. So this is TradingView. Now, this I pay for because I love all its indicators. I like that you can go to the community. It's thousands of free indicators and strategy. I love free. So it's worth the price. Keep in mind, next month, Black Friday, you get great deals on this, like a yearly rate, like 80 or 90% off. That's what I've done. I've gone out to 2030 now, taking advantage of their stuff. Really cheap if you do it that way. So getting back to it, what did it look like in a sell-off? Well, I've added all of three things. I've taken a 49 EMA, a 20 SMA, and a 9. That's it. You can add the ATR trailing stop. Yep, that's a free indicator. But you're going to see that right now, you're in this uptrend. In fact, every time you get a candle higher than the previous candle, you've been going up. You see the rollover right here, the rollover. So you can take off all the indicators at the bottom, and you're going to see that you did indeed get a rollover. You can call it the 50 moving average or the 49. Like I have is just sort of a superstition thing going back 40 years. You can take the ATR trailing stop. But the moral of the story is the oversold rally right here are great short opportunities right here. Oversold rally in a downtrend. And you'll see there's over 340 stocks under their 50. So if you find stocks overbought in a downtrend, you look for, go to a shorter term chart to time your entry. So let's go to some of the stocks I showed you that actually everybody looks at the wrong ideas. And we're way up. I hate to chase the opening. But let's go back to it so you have an idea. Now, this is all I'm doing. Carvana, big red candle on Friday, as you see. So what do? Well, you go to a shorter term chart to time your entry. Go over here and go to Carvana. And I'm not saying I'm shorting anything on the opening. I'm looking for the triggers. Go to a 15-minute chart. Yep, there was your bear flag. Look at that. Nice bear flag. Now, the problem with the Carvana, and the reason I didn't play it, It's still in an uptrend. On the other hand, look at Netflix. That's been in a big old downtrend, under the moving averages. Overbought in a downtrend has worked great in Netflix, especially when it was under things. In here, it's a little dicey. I didn't touch it. I touch it in here when it had a defined trend line and overbought under the 50. That's what you're looking for. Do you play Netflix today? Yeah, but you probably trade it if you see a defined trend. Look at those trend lines. On the opening, you're not going to know. But let me give you some of the others that if I do play the downside, these would be the first place I'd look. So let's go into it so you know. We're going to go back to it. And I'll show you. We're going to look at Spotify. KLAC is a tough one. It gaps up and down every day. I'm not sure about that one. Spotify, Carvana, Meta, PLTR, GEV, Roblex. You're going to see almost every one of these I'm showing you had a big red candle on Friday. And this one has violated the 50. Now, do I want to play the opening? I want to play when I see a defined trend line intraday. So that group, the Rolex, the Roblex, Wynn Resorts, Netflix, ALAB, I'm looking to fade after the opening if I see a 5-minute or 15-minute consolidation on the downside. Now, on the upside, there are a number of stocks I don't mind. CRCL is one of them. Starting to turn the corner. I wish it wasn't up 7 points today. I don't mind CRCL at all. There are other ones. I don't mind Exxon. I just wish it wasn't up this morning, but at least it's trying to form a bottom. Pepsi, it's tough when it has earnings on Friday, but that is the kind of thing. Reversal candle, you play it to the downside. It takes a lot of time to repair the damage. If this didn't have earnings, I'd look over this area for a long idea. Not now, because you have to worry about earnings. So I don't mind some of the rotation into the Pepsis of the world or the consumer kind of stocks or the defensive. Merck, nice rally after all the news with drug companies. I would like to see it calm down a little. If it calms down and gets back to this area, about 86, yeah, then I look for a bullish reversal candle. So that's what I'll be doing, looking for the stocks that look like they broke up, looking for them to work off their overbought condition, and the stocks that have broken down, looking for them to work off their oversold condition. I'm looking opportunistically. Like I said, you could go into this free site like I've showed you a lot of times. Go back to FinViz. Go to Screener. Go into here. It's free. I haven't even logged in, as you see on the upper right. Go into here and fascinating wise, go and put current volume. This is from Friday. Put in over 500,000 optionable and shortable. I like active stocks. I like optionable stocks so I can do spreads. Take the price over 50. Over 50. So it's a lot, 800 stocks. But go and put in under the 50. So if you think the only money to be made is on the upside, there are 300 stocks under their 50. Yep, there are a lot of shorts to be had as well as longs. Have a great day. I'll be showing a lot of specific trades on our site today. And by the way, this pops out your ads and you can see what I've been looking up. Shirts, aren't those interesting? Take care. Talk to you later.